hagoizes esatzemer, shearing the wool of a hamalabnai and bleaching it. It comes from the root lavan, which is white, to make it white. These are two of the malachas in making fabric, which is forbidden on Shabbos. Amar Rabba bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabba, the son of Bar Chana, says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Hatoivet tzemer shal gabi behema b'Shabbos. If someone, instead of cutting the hair, cutting the fibers, the wool off the sheep, instead of doing that, he spins it while it's still on the animal, and he does this on Shabbos. So he's chayiv shalish chatos, he's chayiv 3 sin offerings. When we've said this before, usually we've said that a person does one action, he's chayiv 2 korbanos. Here, we're talking about that he's actually doing 3 actions, but it's just out of order. And the chiddush is that even though it's out of order, he's still going to be chayiv. One of them, achas mishum goises, because he has to cut it off, he has to shear the wool, which he does after he spun it. It's while it's still attached to the animal. So achas mishum menapitz, one is carding, which he does while it's attached. Carding is straightening the fibers. V'achas mishum toiven, one is because of spinning. So what he did was, first he carded, then he spun it, and then he cut it off. And even though this was out of order, he's still chayiv. Rav Kana Amar, Rav Kana says, Ein derech gezize bekach, this is not the way of shearing wool after it's already spun. Ein derech menapitz bekach, this is not the way of carding the wool while it's still attached to the animal. Straightening the fibers is usually done after it's washed. Vein derech tavi bekach, and this is not the way of spinning while it's attached to the animal. So the Gemara asks on Rav Kana's opinion, V'loi, is this not the way of doing it? V'hatanya, but we learned in a brisa, Tanya is a brisa, Mishmei Rab Nechemya, in the name of Rab Nechemya, Shatuf be'izim v'tava be'izim, based on a pasuk that the women that had this extra wisdom would tavu be'izim, the tavu es'izim, they would spin it while it was still attached to the animal. So they washed it while it was, shatuf means washed, and tavu means spun it, while it was still attached. Then it says that tavu, that they spun it. Alma, we see that tvi'al gabi behema shmei tvi'ah, that spinning it while it's attached to the animal is called spinning. So if it's called spinning, that's the malacha of tvi'ah, of being toiva, the wool. And you're not allowed to do that on Shabbos. So why would Rav Kana say that you would be pater if you spin the wool while it's still attached, when we see clearly that by the Mishkan, in the preparation for the Mishkan, which happens to be where we learn the malachas for, but they did spin the wool while it was still attached. So why today would someone be pater? So the Gemara says, Chachmi Yisei Shiny, that Rav Kana could be right, because over there was this extra wisdom, which the pasuk actually talks about, that they were skilled or had this extraordinary skill or wisdom, and shani means different, and therefore if someone would do something in an abnormal way, whether for the better or for the worse, you would be pater on Shabbos. It's called kalach hayad, in the abnormal way. Okay. Just to set up the names, Rabba bar Chana was a student of Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Kana happens to be a student of Rav, who Rav was a contemporary of Rabbi Yochanan. So Rav Kana and Rabba bar Chana would be contemporaries. And Rab Nechemya was much earlier. He was in the days of Rabbi Akiva's students. He argues often with Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Loi, who was Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, Tana Rabbanan, the Rabbanan learned. Hatoilish asakanaf, if someone plucks a feather off a bird, V'hakaitmai, he trims the top of it, V'hamarta is he shaves the sides of the feather. He's chayiv shalish chatais, he'd be chayiv for those 3 actions. And Amar Rab Shimon ben Lakish, Rab Shimon ben Lakish says, Toilish, actually this Amar, this if you Mr. Sashas changes that to Amar. Amar Shimon ben Lakish. Shimon ben Lakish says Toilish chayiv mishum goizes. Toilish, which means plucking the feather, is chayiv because of shearing, which is like shearing the wool. Kaitim, which means trimming the top, is chayiv mishum mechatech, is chayiv because of cutting to size, which that was done by the leather. And memarit, which is shaving down the sides of it, is chayiv mishum memachik, is chayiv because of smoothing. So let's get a picture of the feather here. So toilish is pulling it out from the bird. Kaitim is cutting off that part over there. We said that would be chayiv because of mechatech. There's only a certain amount over there that would be comfortable inside a pillow. Down over here, it would not be comfortable. It would like poke you in the cheek, which wouldn't be fun to sleep on. But shaving the sides and getting that off, that would be chayiv because of smoothing the